Hey, starting a bookkeeping firm from scratch, 3 things to avoid, okay? These will kill your gains if you are not aware or if you hit these, okay? So I'm answering the question I get asked a lot, like where to start the business, but I'm doing it from the anti kind of role because most people kind of understand like how to start, like in theory, but there's a lot of different things that will prevent you from reaching your goal as fast as what you want, because in life it's not always about what you do. Oftentimes it's about what you don't do. So if you don't make a mistake, you don't have to slow down and correct that mistake, right? If you don't run out of money, you don't have to file bankruptcy. You don't have to go and rebuild your life and rebuild your credit, right? So it's the same thing when starting a business. So, a lot of people, they're overwhelmed with a lot of different like tasks, and I really wanted to simplify the process for you today and really give you some key areas of both places to focus to avoid as well as areas to focus on to grow. So, I'm diving into this. So, first things first, just a prerequisite, I would really get the minimum viable skill set. So just learn basic bookkeeping. If you need help with that, we do teach that inside our mentorship program. Also, you want to learn more about our mentorship program, click the link down inside the description to book a call, see if we can help you. Another thing that you can do is you can get some relevant certifications like the QuickBooks Pro Advisor, Xero certification. One thing that's very interesting to note is that I don't really like getting the QuickBooks Pro Advisor directory listing when I'm just getting started, because it's actually going to go against some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today in this video. There's a time and place for everything, but in the beginning you need to go and get clients, and oftentimes directories can just take a little bit of time to go, especially because they ask you to really put in your business information and a lot of different things to kind of get approved for it, which can slow you down from actually going and getting clients. And oftentimes for a QuickBooks Pro Advisor directory listing, it doesn't oftentimes give you leads right away. So it's like you kind of go through all this time, you study for the QuickBooks Pro Advisor exam, you take the exam, maybe you pass it, maybe you fail it. A lot of people, they'll actually wait till they pass it. If they fail it for the first time, you have to wait for a certain period before you can take it again. So that just adds another 2 months to your process, where it's okay, if you just go straight to what we're talking about today, you could have saved anywhere from 3 to 4 months, and you could have already been profitable in your business. Cool. Next thing, business planning. Okay, so I talk about skipping business planning. I know on the one screen it's very hard to kind of see my face and the words, the PowerPoint. I just had a lot of words today, so it's one of those things. So I skip business planning in the beginning. Okay, so at the bare minimum, I would just outline a list of services. So you can just do basic bank recs. You can prepare financial statements, etc., etc. I would make a list of maybe 3 to 4 different target markets. I would kind of you can think about your pricing strategy, but the reason why I say skip this business plan and just start going after clients is because you think about all of these are a giant task. What services do you offer? That could take you a week, 2 weeks, a month to figure out all the service you offer. Your target market, that can take you about a month to 2 months to research that. Your pricing strategy, that can take you a lifetime to figure out your pricing strategy. Next thing, financial projections. How do you know how much you're gonna make if you don't even know how much work you do to go get a client? See, this is the reason why when a lot of traditional businesses and business people talk about make a business plan, it's generally for more businesses that have a lot of risk involved, because they want to make sure they can really take a look at all the different aspects and angles of the business to make sure they're going to be able to be profitable. Now, oftentimes for business planning, they're giving you access to tools to look at historical data of either a city, a location, etc., to see, okay, these restaurants are generally doing this. You have a lot more data to actually look at. If you're starting a bookkeeping business and you don't have the benefit of a franchise, or you don't have a benefit of they have different incubators that give you historical data, all of your business plans are going to be wrong because you don't actually know what it takes to go and get one client. Okay, so just to even highlight this point, how many people do you need to speak to, not consultation call, just speak to get one client? If you don't know that, then how can a business that's the bare minimum of your business plan, right? Because how some people do a business plan, they'll be okay, what are they'll do a SWOT analysis, they'll do okay, I need to make this much, it means I need to get this many clients. It's well, how do you know what the average value of your clients is, right? That could be, the average value of your clients are going, like, we'll say, just to keep it simple, the dollar per month. That is based on your sales skills. But you might not know what your sales skills are in relation to the market, because you might think that you're really good at sales, but then when you start going and talking to the market, you find no one wants to buy the way that you think you are. I was talking to some people like earlier this week, and they're like, they were talking about like the way they do their sales, and like, this is like, that sounds cool in theory, but as you're kind of seeing with the market, they're not really responding to that the way that you think that they are. Right, and I didn't say like in a mean way, right? The person just didn't know that, right? And like, they weren't in my mentorship program, so I can't take the credit for the sales skills they had, right? But that's why people join our mentorship program, to learn how to do this stuff the correct way, so they know what to do. I would only start doing a business plan once you have at least 3 clients and you are 6 months into business. And so I would say ideally 3 clients. And then if that takes you like a month to do that, okay, well then you have that kind of number. If not, I'll probably do it about 6 months in, right? Now, Bryce, does mini business plans very, very often, right? I'm doing projections. So it's a little bit different, right? So it's not a business plans before you start, projection is while you're there. But I'm using my past historical data to go and dictate what's going to happen in the future. And this is not just 1 year, this is like 9 years worth of historical data for me to actually go and like pull out and say, okay, cool, so things are still moving good. Okay, my cost per lead has actually dropped, my number of leads have gone up, the et cetera, et cetera. So it's getting easier or it's getting harder to do X, Y, Z, right? So I'm always tracking that. I know exactly how much it is, but that makes sense for me to do that. I have a huge amount of expenses compared to like the average person. They're not as large what they used to be or what they could be business wise, because like I did a lot of like profitability kind of analysis and stuff. But the point of that is to say, don't do it in the beginning. You're all of your stuff's gonna be wrong. Next thing, niche identification. Okay, so so a lot of people say like to go and like do like niching down or whatever. Now, there's nothing wrong with niching down. It's just, again, unless you work for a small accounting firm or you work for an accounting firm with different industries, if you have never worked with multiple industries, then I would probably recommend you maybe choose like 3 to 4, even like 5 different industries that you potentially want to go after, that you maybe like, before you start going. I would not try and niche down to one, especially if you've never worked with the industry. Do not niche down to an industry that you've never worked with. Number one, you don't know if you like the industry, you don't know if you like the type of business owner, you don't know if that business owner is going to vibe with you, you don't know if you could charge the price points that you need to. Okay, so let's break those down. You don't know the niche. Okay, cool. So like, you could think that it's one way, but you actually get it's like, oh, this is stupid, right? And accounting is accounting, so this is the least important out of it, like the niche. But you might not like the owners. Every single niche has a different type and personality of business owner, right? Of course, there are different like mixes within there, but the average business owner in that niche might be a little bit different. For example, if you don't like people cursing, you're probably not going to want to be in construction. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of those guys and gals, they talk like a sailor, right? So if you cringe every time someone says like a curse word, you might not want to do that industry, because that's what they do, right? Next thing is like, or also, you might be a very analytical kind of person, and you're talking to, like, let's say you do creatives, and the creatives are like all over the place, right? Or they're a touchy-feely type person, and you can't have a hard conversation with them, or else they start like breaking down and like tuning you out, right? So you have to know kind of what is the industry, like, personality. Next thing, you have to make sure you actually like the industry, right? You don't just go after it for the money. I've always seen people who go after the industry just for the money often never times get the money that they're hoping for. Where if they just go to a market they like, they're going to make more money because people actually want to help them and they resonate with them. If you have someone that actually wants to work with you and they like you, they are willing to overpay for your services. Okay, it's not like you're ripping them off or anything. It's just they understand that, hey, I really want to retain this person. So for people I want to retain, I need to pay a little bit more money. It's just a fact of life. Next thing, legal and administrative. Okay, so do legal and administrative setup. Do these things when you onboard client number 1. Okay, so what I do, and this is what I had to do because I didn't have anything like set up. For my first client, I extended the onboarding process for about a week. So basically what I told the guy was like, hey, okay, cool. So I'm going to be out of town for a couple days. So can we meet next Friday? So this is Friday to Friday. Okay. He said, okay, cool. I did this so I could go and register an LLC, and I could go and get a business license as well as get my insurance, right? So I started talking to the insurance agents. So like within like 3 or 4 days, they give me like a different quote, and I was protected, right? So it's just like, do that once you have a client. Okay, you don't have a business yet, so it's like there's no point in you doing LLC, because then what happens to a lot of people is like they do all like the business preparation, but they never actually go get a client. So now they're just paying like the XYZ per year LLC like fee, and they just like file a zero return, which is not a bad thing, but it's like I don't know if that really makes sense unless you have a client. Like you're just kind of practicing until you get a client. Once you get a client and everything's real and you're good, but like up until that point, you're just practicing. And even going back, so you're like, well, you can't go and get clients, you don't have like insurance. Like, well, LLC and insurance is more about protection. Who are you being protected against? No one's gonna sue you because you don't have any clients. You don't really exist. You're kind of just there, And that's not to be like mean, but it's just like, it's honest. So when you have that first client, you onboard them slower so you can go and get official, right? Because now your business is real. Now it's real. Now it makes sense. You have to protect yourself from your first client, right? Next thing, building an online presence. Okay, this is very, very, very opposite. Probably what you would think and what you have heard. Online presence, okay? So some of these are going to be, okay, so let's take a step back. So online presence, what does that mean? That is your ability to be on the internet, have real estate on the internet, okay? So the bare minimum you need to have is a social media presence, okay? So LinkedIn and Facebook, okay? If you can't have a LinkedIn because you're working a job and they're checking your LinkedIn profile, if you're in accounting, that's good enough. You don't need to make a change to your profile, right? Because we can show you how to like message people, and then the people will kind of understand, okay, this person is like starting a business even though they have a job. Okay, cool. No problem with that. We have videos on LinkedIn. I'm actually making another video in a couple minutes about LinkedIn. So that's number one. That's really all you need, okay? Once you have onboarded your first couple clients, now you can start thinking about potentially building a website. Now, I do not like building websites unless I know what I am doing. Okay? The reason why is because a website will not get you a client. A website can push someone over the edge who is contemplating working with you. I'll say that again. A lot of people think they still kind of use this phrase, if you build it, they will come. Kind of. Right? But the whole thing where it's like, if you build it, they will come, that comes from a time where there were no skyscrapers, there were no buildings. So if you build a national monument, everyone's going to hear about it and see it because it's out in the open. When you build a website, you're on page 1,000, right? They talk about 95, or it's like 90 to 95% of people click the first thing they see on the first page. And then the second page gets like maybe like 10%. So if you're not on page 1, you're not going to get seen by more than about 1% of people that search up accounting or bookkeeping in your location. So like, yeah, if you were the only website on the internet or like the only one in your city, okay, you build it, yeah, they'll come, right? But if you don't have that, you're not going to be seen. The only people that are going to ask about your website are two types of people. Number one is someone that on a sales consultation call, they don't want to move forward with you because they don't trust you or just some one random reason. So they ask about your website so they can basically use that as a scapegoat for why they don't want to keep talking with you. It's like they just kind of use it to escape because the one thing you can't do quickly, right? So you might go on like down this rabbit hole of building a website, learning the code, etc., and it's like it was never really the problem. It was just a thing that they blamed. The second type of person that a website is good for is someone who is on a consultation call. You have confirmed that they want to work with you, but maybe they just want to soak in your information just a little bit more. Okay? That person would be good for a website, but not a website that you would think. The website you would need to build is one based on credibility, not just based on like, hey, this is my name of my business and like this is about me. Like it's gonna be persuasion-based marketing and persuasion-based information on that website is going to be important there, right? Which again takes a little bit of skill. Oh, I'm sorry, I kicked my camera. Which I'm looking for my flip-flop. I had two. Oh, here it is. I had two, but I have these Reebok flip-flops that I like wearing sometimes. It takes skill. Next is SEO and content marketing. Okay, so I would not do this in the beginning. Like, again, like SEO goes with the website. It's search engine optimization. It's driving your website up to the top of the search results so you can see by more people. And then content marketing, okay? In the beginning, it's SEO will take at least 6 months to make work. So it's like, if you need money right away, that's just gonna take a lot of time. You have to go learn it, and it absorbs too much time for the return you're gonna get from it. Content marketing is very similar, because unless you started really building your social media presence, you don't really have anyone in your audience that's going to see your content. So like, don't do what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm making a YouTube video, right? So Bryce, that goes in direct opposition to what you're saying. You say don't make content. Okay, well, 10 years in, you can make content. Like, I just started a YouTube channel like in 2022. I had already been doing the mentorship program for like 3 years before I ever made a single YouTube video, right? I had over 150 clients for my mentorship program, and I had a lot of clients for my accounting and bookkeeping business before I ever made a single piece of content or a video online. You know what I mean? It's like, all this stuff that I'm talking about, there's a time and a place for it. But if you're just starting your business, this is not the time and the place for it. You almost need to pierce the market and then start putting down roots. It's almost like planting a tree. You have to plant the seed, get it inside the ground, it's gonna start like this. And then it just starts going and growing, and the roots get wider and wider and wider. My goal is, whenever someone types up the word like Bryce Tubbs, it's synonymous with accounting, right? So anytime like an accounting client, like maybe they see me on like LinkedIn or whatever, they're like asking about like my accounting, my bookkeeping services, they actually go and watch this YouTube channel, believe it or not. I've gotten a lot of clients from my accounting firm from this YouTube channel, because they see it, they understand who I am, they understand my personality, and they want to move forward, right? But again, I have someone I'm sending there, or they're typing in my name, they can see it, and there's like a million different like pieces of information, because again, I use Google as my website essentially. So what does that mean? Someone types me in, types in Bryce Tubbs or virtual accounting strategies, okay? LinkedIn pops up, Facebook pops up, YouTube pops up, reviews pop up, other million YouTube videos pop up, a million things pop up. So no matter what happens, they can click here. Now they understand my about page, right? Which is basically my YouTube channel. They click here, they see my LinkedIn, which basically has a business resume on it. They click here, they get a feel for my personality. It's my Facebook profile, right? So I have all these different angles that I'm hitting them with, and it adds up over time. So you don't need one singular website. You have a bunch of assets that go and grow the business for you. My book pops up when that happens too. But again, that takes time, okay? Next thing is so here's what you should start doing, okay? Networking and marketing. Okay, so this is a little bit different than, I'm not necessarily saying to go to networking events. If you have time and you want to go to networking events, you definitely can. I do like them. They do work. They don't work the way most people think they do, because it does take time, and you have to be very skilled at relationships and talking about what you do in order for people to really take notice and to actually care about what you're talking about, okay? That's number one. I also like doing virtual networking. So that's joining like different business groups, different business organizations, right? In order to get people to know who I am, have a conversation, build a relationship, and get them on a consultation call. Referrals, okay? So if you're inside the accounting field, you should know people that could refer you clients. Now, it's tough, because oftentimes a lot of people that like ask this question, sorry, I had a text come in from a client. Most people, like, they're probably saying like, Bryce, I've already looked into referrals. Okay, if you looked into referrals and like you're just not getting any from your existing network, okay, you might want to start going into like strangers. But just assuming that you do have one, that's one thing I would actually go and like test out to see if you have one, because a lot of people have at least one or two clients inside their existing life, especially if they've been working in accounting, right? Like, for example, one of our students named Lauren, so she actually had a client that came to her from a blind date that she did like, I think 3 or 4 years before she talked to the person. So blind date, didn't go anywhere, told her to go through her existing network. She looked at this person's Facebook. The person has like 3 businesses. She reached out to the person, and each business the person had paid her $1,200 a month. So $3,600 a month in like 5 days of starting your business, from using that tip of the referrals. Now again, that's if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have a good sales script. Like, she did have the advantage of receiving our sales script and receiving our messenger script to turn one of those friends into a client. But if you're kind of doing this on your own, I mean, you can still do it. It's just the percentage of probability someone's going to say yes is going to be a little bit lower, okay? So it does work. It's just, don't expect magic from it if you don't have the supporting stuff that goes with the underlying support that goes with it. Next thing you can do is like use online and local groups. So this is just like Facebook groups, and you're just like advertising your services. So this is a little bit different than content marketing, believe it or not. Okay, when I think of content marketing, I'm thinking of just putting like a bunch of posts on your profile. That's what most people mean when they say content marketing. Now, I would almost change this word from advertising to promotion, so you can promote yourself inside like local Facebook groups. Like we have a post we give all of our students when they first join our program of how to introduce yourself inside of like the local Facebook groups, so that business owners see you, and if they want your service, they can actually like move forward and like contact you pretty easily. Next thing, so let's talk about client acquisition. So that just means getting clients, okay? Number one, cold outreach, okay? That's reach out to clients via emails, calls, social media, okay? So personally for me, when I'm doing cold outreach, I like doing social media and emails as secondary cold outreach. Now emailing, that a lot of stuff that goes into it. I actually have a video on the channel where I was building an email campaign for one of the students in our mentorship program. Excuse me. That's technical, okay? Most people cannot build an email list large enough to actually like make solid change. Like we give our students like different lists and like pools of prospects they can go after, so it like makes email marketing like super easy, even though it's very complicated for the average person. Because like the problem with emails is you can never build a list, you don't know how to keep your emails from getting shut down, you can't just spam people, right? So it's like you have to be very skilled when it comes to emailing. Next thing is going to be social media. So social media, you can do like a low volume approach, you can do a high volume approach, you can do an automated approach, okay? Low volume would be more of like shooting a sniper rifle. Now, most people are not good at shooting a sniper rifle, right? So the reason why is because you don't really know who is going to show an indicator they're going to work with you, okay? If I'm going to shoot a sniper rifle, it's going to be with a referral partner, because I can shoot one. If I get one person out of 100 potential referral partners, they give me 5 referrals, okay, I technically cast a net, but I was shooting a rifle. Versus I'm going directly to clients, I'm trying to get like, 10 people, and out of 10 people I want 10 clients. That's very, very, very hard to do for most people. So what I like teaching people to do instead is to cast a wide net. So you grow the top number of people in your pool, and then you convert a certain amount of those prospects over time. So like for me, for example, I get anywhere between 800 to about 1,000 business owners or accountants and bookkeepers to join my Facebook group every single month. That's 1,000 new people every single month that I can then go message and see if we have a potential to be a good fit, okay? That sounds like a lot, Bryce, 1,000 people, and it totally is. It's totally unnecessary how many people we get to, because Facebook does have like limits as to how many people you can actually message, but that's okay. You just do what you gotta do sometimes. I'm actually hoping if I could get that number closer to like 2,000 a month, that would be amazing. Right now the Facebook group's at about like 40.7 thousand members. That'd be like amazing if we could grow it even further and like even faster. I wonder if I can get that group up to like 100,000 people. That could be, I don't know, we'll have to kind of take a look and see, but wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool if your friend Bryce got his Facebook group up to like 100,000 people? Crazy. Who would have thought? Like, and it doesn't take you a long time to do this stuff, guys. I know people talk about like large numbers. Like you might hear me say like you have to go speak to 1,000 prospects or 2,000 prospects, but it's not like I physically am doing it myself. For LinkedIn, you have automation tools that can go and start the conversation for you. So it turns casting a net into shooting a sniper rifle, because the automation goes and talks to a lot of people, and then you just get on your profile, you just reply to people that show interest. So I'm taking the ability to cast a net and get a wide number of people, and I'm making it easier for you to be able to shoot that net. Also, what you can do is you can have virtual assistants, right? So that's actually on this thing when it talks about like operational setup, outsourcing, right? Software. So like I would actually invest, like this kind of is basic, but make sure you have the accounting software. Like make sure you've played around in QuickBooks a couple of times, right? There is the free version of QuickBooks. It's called QBOA, right? If you're gonna go and get that one, you have to scroll to the bottom of the QuickBooks page. It's like in the black. It has like a number of different like links, and it says like for accountants or I think it's like accountant partnerships or something. One of those two, and you have to click on it. It's very, very hard to find if you don't know what you're looking for. So just look down there if you don't see it right away. If you're an accountant or bookkeeper, you should not be paying for at least your QuickBooks Online subscription. right? Desktop's a little bit different, but QuickBooks Online at least. Next thing, templates and processes. So I develop templates and processes as I'm going through the clients, right? So in the beginning, it's rough. Like your first client's gonna be like rough if you're doing it on your own. If you don't have any templates, it's gonna be rough. It's okay. My first client, I basically was trying to like make a proposal template. It took me like 4 hours, and I was like, I was frozen because I was like, what should I say? What should I do? I literally just wasted almost like an entire day doing that. But like once you've done it the first time, you just boom, just go. You just paste and just go, right? You change a couple details and it's very, very quick. You can get a proposal out in like maybe like 5 minutes. Same thing with processes, right? Make sure you're writing down every single thing you do, because like when you do decide to outsource and hire a subcontractor, then they have to be able to follow something. So like for me, for example, I have a lot of different like SOPs. I have let me see if I can show you. Sorry, I want to show you this manual we have. Messenger. Oh, I should bring you up. Sorry, if you're watching there's two cameras. So there's one camera is like just a talking head. There's another camera that's more of a it's showing my screen because I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. Like we have this, it is like literally 32 different like pages, and each one of these pages have like multiple different links and videos showing exactly like what someone in my, like whenever I hire a virtual assistant or like have someone like message and stuff, super detailed. I actually should improve this a little bit. There's actually a couple different things, but but I have these SOPs just like boom, just ready for like new hires to go and like review. Oh, I went to the beginning. Right? And it's just there, so I don't have to keep like building things from scratch. I can just say, hey, go read this page, go read this page, it's on this page, okay? And I just build it once and then it works. Cool. Financial management. Okay, so pricing strategy, again, that's something you're going to like learn over time. Like we give you like a pricing calculator in our program, so you don't have to like worry about that, but just in case you do, pricing is going to be important. Next thing, budgeting. Okay, so we also talk about how to create a budget and really track your finances. Ideally, when you're first getting started, you're using QuickBooks, so like your QuickBooks, QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountants version, like you're using that to keep track of your finances, so you know how much money like you're making or you're spending. Next thing is going to be feedback. Okay, so seeking feedback from clients for improvement. Okay, so I'm always asking my clients, hey, what would you like me to improve? Do you like my communication? Like, what are your favorite things about working with me? What are your least favorite things about working with me? Okay, I'm also sending out a survey. I like doing a survey every about 6 months just to kind of see if I can get like more improvement, just more areas for like, it's just another touch point, and I can use it to like really improve my business. Now, another thing, this is a hack that one of my students named Usman used to use to go and get referrals. So every single time that he would like do a client meeting, he'd say, hey, if you had to today, would you leave me a review? If the client says yes, then he goes, okay, cool, awesome. If the client says no, he says, wait, can you tell me more? Like, what would you like for me to improve? If the person tells him no, then they tell him like what to improve, like what they would like to see, and he can like kind of get an understanding of that. If they say yes, they would, and he says, okay, cool. Who do you know that could potentially use my service? Could you refer me to at least 2 of your friends? And then they generally say yes, they generally say no. And he's gotten a lot of good clients from that. Just very, very simple way to go and get more, okay? Next, after that, start expanding your client base, acquire new clients through your marketing and referrals. We have different videos that talk about like different marketing strategies like LinkedIn as well as referrals. Next thing, team building. Start building your team. When you can do 2 different ways. You can either hire when it hurts, or you can hire in order to kind of like save your time. As I'm more and more mature in business, I like hiring for 2 different ways. So in the beginning, I hired for like vanity. I was like, oh, I have virtual assistants, I have staff accountants. Like it just made me feel cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I didn't really need them at the time. It was just cool, right? So I was like, okay, so I felt cool because like I'm a successful entrepreneur. I've been trying so long to start a business and it just wasn't working. So when I finally got some traction for business, this showed I got it, right? I couldn't really afford to like buy nice things at the time, so I tried to like buy that. That was not the best thing, because then you end up spending a lot of money and your profit margins go down, and you have like a lot of team members that aren't really doing anything, okay? So Next thing, you hire when it hurts. That's when something breaks down or you just can't really do the amount of client work you have anymore. Okay, that's a good one to do, but there's also a third, which is like if you're experienced and you know where you actually want to go, you can start building your team to support the future growth. So for example, I was talking about earlier how we have like the different 1,000 people joining our Facebook group. I just had another assistant join our team 2 days ago, right? Because I wanted to be able to go and get an extra like 600 conversations per month, right? They do about 30 times about 30. They do about 30 times 20, right? So if they just do 30 conversations every single day for 22 other working days, that's a little bit over 600 conversations that they're starting per month, right? So what that allows me to do is I can go and get more people to join my group because I can handle that extra volume, right? So it makes things a lot easier for me to handle, so I can make more money if I really want to, right? But I didn't really necessarily need them. It doesn't, and I'm not hurting for them, but it's just something I wanted to get future growth. So just kind of depends on what stage you're at in your business. Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to wrap this video up. So what we basically talked about, starting a bookkeeping firm requires technical skills, business acumen, strategic marketing, and focusing on acquiring skills and building a solid foundation for improving processes for success. Now, if any of the stuff that we talked about in this video resonates with you, if you want to learn how we do all this stuff inside the video, go ahead and click the link either above or below the video to book a call with myself or a member of my team, see if we can help you inside of our mentorship program, okay? We have a very specific type of person that we can help, like a very specific situation, just to make sure that we can help people out as much as possible and make sure that people understand exactly what they need to do to go and find success. If it's a good fit, we're going to talk pricing, we can get you on board, and we can get you off towards your goals. If it's not a good fit, that's okay too. We can kind of point you in a different direction. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. If that's you, I will see you on the call. If not, I will see you inside the next video. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.